Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the show, episode 6 of the Daily Nugget. Um, as you guys have probably seen, I originally posted um, the thumbnail for the live stream, and it stated that we were going to be talking about some of the supply chain issues. Well, I had to change that because of some stuff I heard on the news today, and it was weird because I usually don't ever watch CNN, and today I was just flipping through the channels. I decided to listen to some of this stuff and they were going at Zuckerberg and Facebook hard. So I listened for a little while, then I went online, did a little bit more research, and I was like, yeah, we need to talk about Facebook. But it's hot and it's new, and I want to try to stay relevant. And we got plenty of time to talk about the supply chain because it ain't getting fixed anytime soon. But then again, neither is Facebook. So it is what it is. Uh, let's go ahead and see who we got in here. I should be having some guests popping in tonight. I sent a link out to a few people, so it should be interesting. Teresa, I feel what's going on? How you doing tonight? Georgia Peach, Susanna, hello, sweetheart. Donna, Divine Prepping, how are you? Amy C, that name sounds familiar. Did I just see you a few minutes ago? Yes, I think I did. DJ Cat, what's going on? Hey, you too. Monique, welcome back. Bug Dude, what's going on, Bug Dude? Angela B in North Carolina. Bug Dude, one of the winners from the 2,500 subscriber giveaway we did on Friday. Working on your seeds now, brother. Working on your seeds now. So how's everybody doing tonight? Anybody got any interesting news? Anything they want to share with the community? I didn't do a whole lot too much today. Had a doctor's appointment and then messed with the rabbits a little bit. Did a little bit of cooking. Ate some of the stew that I canned not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. It was delicious. I did like a beef stew, but instead of using beef, I used Boston butt roast, diced it up, put it in there. It was absolutely awesome with some hand broth. Delicious over rice. Roots, what's going on?
Hi, everybody.
There's Ohio Prepper. There's Angie W. Welcome. Hello, everyone. So we're just going to sit here and shoot the crap for a few minutes until the room gets populated. Hey, Shift Kicker, there's one of the other winners of the 2,500 subscriber giveaway. We're just going to shoot the crap for a few minutes until the room gets populated, and then we'll harp on the topic. That way, I don't gotta keep repeating stuff over and over and over and over and over again. Which I really don't mind, but it is what it is.
Right.
Georgia Peach. There's Bug.
Hey, Bug Dude. Susanna, Georgia, Teresa, Angie, Shift. Good to see everyone. Ohio Prepper, Monique. Hi.
You couldn't get in for the members only? Everybody else got in fine. I don't know. I have no clue. That's weird. Why don't you send me an email, Teresa? Send me an email. I'll give you my personal phone number. And next week when we do it, if it doesn't let you on, text me and I'll pop you up onto the panel. And then I'll try to figure out why it's not letting you in, because as far as I know, it let everybody else in.
Mark, Tabby, Donna, hello. Zombie, hi. You know what I had to do? I had to go to the community tab, Teresa, and inside the community tab, it showed a live stream going on. If you just go to his channel, you won't see it. So try the community tab.
Well, actually, I think the way I had it set, it'll show it, but it shows that it's members only. Like it shows it to anybody, and it shows members only. But yeah, I think what you may need to do is what Root said, is just hit the community tab, and there's a direct link to it right there. But yeah, we'll definitely have to figure that out. Uh-oh, what's going on, Native? You wanna come up here and be on the panel, on the council, while we delve into this Facebook disaster? It didn't show up to me, and I'm not one of the cool kids. Yeah, the for the members only stream, that community post was only sent to members. Nobody else would see it. Hey, Lady Hammer, how you doing? Whoa, where'd everybody go? Lady Hammer scared off Virginia. Hey, what's up, Ronnie Braun? Lost Roots. Where'd she go? So what's going on with this crazy weather out in, was it California? Like getting like a blizzard or something? I heard something about it today. I didn't really dig into it too much. Mark Chesser, my Facebook account was hacked and I'm locked out of it now. That's probably a good thing, Mark. I don't do Facebook. I mean, I have a Facebook page. I've had it for years, but I can't, like maybe once every 2 weeks, I'll just go over there. And the only reason I go over there is because some of my family uses it like every day. So I'll like, I don't post anything. I just read other people's stuff. Been cold in Missouri for a week. Raining in Ohio. It's always raining in Ohio. My ex was from Stowe. I remember driving to Ohio. I went up through the mountains through West Virginia, and as soon as I crossed the border of Ohio, the sun went away, and I didn't see it again until I left. Yeah, Mark, and I've even been told that even after you delete your page, they don't delete it permanently. It sticks there for a while in case you change your mind. Supposedly, that's the reason they do it. I'm not really sure. But I mean, this is the internet. It's 2021. You can't delete anything nowadays. It doesn't go away. Maybe you can't see it, but it's still around. I hate the internet sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Let me. We're gonna wait for uh, Native to get situated, and he'll be up here with us in a second. Hey, what's going on, Mark Bottoms? Guardian, welcome. Let me see. I had one other guest that was supposed to come hang with us. Let me see where he's at. Yes, I'm really interested in Native's show tonight. It's going to be good. It's the Halloween show. It's like the one with the zombies and the aliens and the werewolves and all this kind of cool stuff. So it should be a fun and probably hilarious show. I can't not think that some of the reactions and some of the questions aren't going to be just hilarious. Flintstone Girl, what's going on? No big deal. We're just sitting here, just shooting the breeze, waiting on the room to populate. We haven't covered anything yet, but we will. We're just waiting on Native to get up here and join us. Backwoods is supposed to be coming and waiting on Roots to come back. She kind of disappeared. I guess her stuff had to reboot or something. Yeah. Zombie prepper. Ooh, love zombies. Really? I never would have guessed that. I never would have guessed there was any kind of connection between you and zombies. Yeah, so it's 7:39. So in an hour and 20 minutes, Native's going hot with his the setup, the Halloween edition of the setup. So it should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. Been looking forward to it all week actually. So yeah, it should be good. Oh, Backwoods was on with TJ earlier. He's probably eating dinner. He ain't got time to eat. I just texted him, so hopefully he'll be joining us in a minute. Got to check in with him, see how his hunt went. Last thing I heard was I saw him on his phone out in the middle of the woods at 2 in the morning, and they ain't done nothing. There he is.
I was eating.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Bug nailed it.
Yeah, I had a lot going on today after being gone for nearly a week, for the deer camp.
Did you get anything?
No, I could have shot a couple of does, but I mean I got a freezer full of deer meat. I'm kind of hunting a big buck, and it was hot, and man, you kill a deer when it's that hot. You gotta really get with it, and getting that deer cooled down, skint and all that, and
Yeah.
the ice that was, just I don't know, just it's still early in the season, you know what I mean?
Hello, Tamara Reynolds. Hello, Susie D.
Let me see.
Hi, Tamara, Susie, Mark, and Front Woods.
What's going on, Front Woods?
Hi, Nita.
What's happening? What's happening? So, y'all ready to jump into this Facebook stuff?
That's it. I'm out.
I'm ready.
It's gonna be a good show. It's gonna
Nice
be a
beard.
good show. I like
Y'all
it.
don't want to miss it. Native's dead.
Do what?
Native's dead. I killed him.
You killed him?
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah. So today I was just messing around, and I came in from feeding the rabbits, messing with the rabbits, and I had the TV on. I was just flipping through channels, for shits and giggles, and I never hardly ever watch the news. And I was just like, let me see what the hell's going on CNN, see what kind of bullshit they're talking about. And man, they were all up in Mark Zuckerberg's behind, man. And I said on my video earlier, if you didn't know better, you'd think Mark Zuckerberg changed his last name to Trump. They were tearing him a new one. And so, so apparently the whistleblower, the Facebook papers, they're calling them, that everybody's reviewing now, the Supreme Court, Senate, whatever kind of committee they formed for this guy. I mean, all of a sudden CNN turned on Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook like a mad ex-wife. And it's kind of funny because everybody's heard, within the last 2 weeks about how Facebook's going to go into this brand new rebranding and change all this other stuff around and invest all this money in security and upgrades and all this and that and the other. And it's just, it struck me funny that comes on the heels of, the papers being released and Facebook obviously denying everything, saying it was, more misinformation. But the misinformation police have declared his misinformation as misinformation. So we got misinformation salad, between CNN and Facebook and Zuckerberg. So it's going to get way worse before it gets better. I mean, it's kind of like they just chuck him under the bus. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's got nothing else to talk about. So, the guy's worth $1 trillion. So let's just chuck him under the bus. Because in reality, what's going to happen? Nothing. It's just Securities and Exchange. They may come in and bust his company up, for the monopoly deal like they did Southern Bell years ago. They may bust his company up, but that just means he's going to own multiple companies.
Yep.
They're not going to take any of his money.
I agree.
He may spend a little bit on attorneys and get stuff going to court and doing the hot potato dance like they all do. But in reality, what's going to happen to the guy? Absolutely nothing. I mean,
I don't think so.
It's absolutely nothing. But here's the because a lot of people probably didn't see what was on the news. And now that I figured out how to share my screen, which took forever, I'm going to show you guys the ad. The actual transcript of the stuff that was done today, and let you see the highlight the points that were there. Okay.
Hey, Guardian.
All right. So can you guys see this?
Yes.
All right. CNN business. Is it big enough for you? CNN business. All right. The Facebook papers may be the biggest crisis in the company's history. I mean, some of this stuff is pretty inflammatory. I mean, they're talking about the whistleblower how he denies it all. You've got the securities and looking into it. You know, they put all this stuff to Congress by the whistleblower. Get to the good stuff here. The CNN and other outlets, or yeah, that's not it.
Mm.
Files is what they're calling it. They prompted a Senate subcommittee hearing on it, which raised the publication of the journal's Facebook files, which raised concerns about the impact of Instagram on teen girls. What about TikTok? You can make it on TikTok unless you take your bra off.
Right.
Yeah.
And it says that last sentence there, Facebook's products harm children, stoke division, and weaken our democracy.
Oh yeah.
I agree that it harms children and stokes division. 100%, that's the goal.
Yeah, but when our so-called democracy is the foundation of our democracy nowadays is based on who actually gets to define misinformation and who doesn't. They can't tack democracy onto that and get free points just because it hurts small children. They're just trying to ride that.
Yeah.
They're just trying to ride that wave. But you've got, let's see, another former filed a claim against the company with the SEC. You've got, boom, boom, boom. Here comes the good part. I want to read all this stuff because it's a lot of bull crap, but Vice President of Communications John Panett also a curated selection out of millions of documents at Facebook, which can be used to draw fair conclusions about us. But even that response is telling. Let's get to the good stuff. I mean, they're talking about child trafficking, drug trafficking.
Yeah.
It's it's rebranding. Yeah, it's rebranding the company. You know, it's basically like putting a fresh coat of paint, on an old car. It's not going to fix anything by changing the name.
Polishing a turd.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you can put a silk hat on a pig, and it's still a pig.
Mm-hmm.
One.
Like pick up a turd by the clean end.
Yeah, right. Example of the Journal September 16 to highlight internal Facebook research by a violent Mexican drug cartel. The cartel was said to be using the platform to post violent content and recruit new members using the acronym CJNG, even though it had been designated internally as one of the dangerous individuals of the organization who should be removed. Facebook told the Journal at that time that it was investing in artificial intelligence to bolster its enforcement against such groups.
Oh man!
You got on the way they this ad goes on to say all kinds of good stuff, but the main gist of it was Facebook is being accused of selectively that they're placing a priority on ad revenue versus disinformation, which was a pretty much a direct quote from CNN today. So they were allowing misinformation, knowingly allowing misinformation just to sustain that revenue ad. They're also accused of purposely directing new members and existing members to questionable pages with, get this, volatile conservative views and hate speech. So they right there, they just said, hey, he just moved into one of Trump's trailer parks. You know what I mean? It was all about hate speech and how it was purposely directing JB. You've got, let's go Brandon. You've got all kind of anti-Biden memes. You've got all kind of positive Trump memes back and forth, depending on who your friends are. And Facebook was letting that ride, which I thought was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure that because they were letting it ride, and with all the momentum, this let's go Brandon and empty shelves Biden and all this stuff's got going, that the Biden memes have exploded on Facebook.
Right.
Like gaining massive traction, because no other platform has the audience that he has, the way that he has it. And it's gaining super traction. So the machine's trying to shut it down. Now they're just attacking him, trying to change all this and bust it apart. Because I mean, let's face it, Facebook that's like, if you want to choose one media platform, to reach people in multiple countries around the world, that would be the one you would jump on first. Because if you do it the right way with your ads, you can make money while you're doing it, and they're nailing it. So, I mean, here's my thing. So when they're done with Facebook, now that sets a precedent. That sets a precedent on social media outlets that can be governed and controlled by the government, by the lawmakers that decide what misinformation is or what disinformation is. So if it's successful at Facebook, then everybody else is completely screwed. It won't even be a court case. They won't even let you answer the questions.
I think that's the point.
I do too. I think it's just the first shoe to fall. I think if they can go in there and rip him apart like they did Ma Bell back in the day and do the monopoly thing, and then now they're tying him in with domestic terrorism, drug smuggling, child pornography, human trafficking, and tying all that to the conservative ideas and the hate speech. I mean, they can basically literally label it domestic terrorism, and the government can go after and seize all the assets of that company. That would be the only way they're going to hurt him is to take his shit, and they can legitimately do it with the swipe of a pen on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But if they prove, and that goes all the way back to a little over, almost a year ago, with the that act that was supposedly maybe wasn't signed. Because it doesn't matter who signed it. If it was signed and it's in there now, whoever's got the key to the house can use that act to go after any kind of communications outlet. And that means their assets, their bank accounts, everything. And that's MSNBC, that's CNN. Maybe that's why they're behaving a certain way. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Makes sense.
I mean, going after Facebook this way, now granted, they've went after him before with certain things and this and that and the other, but this today, dude, it was literally 2 hours on CNN nonstop, just ripping him apart. I mean, you would have thought if they would have blocked out all the names of the company and the names of the people involved, you would have thought this was like January the 7th. And they were talking about somebody else. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal.
Oh, they always, but see, that's the thing. If you can look back not very long ago in history where we had someone on this planet who did stuff the same way that everything is going on now, with, censoring things, stuff like that, saying people are terrorists and so forth, for doing this, because they go against their narrative, and I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now, especially that, everything that we do that is not in their narrative, then we're a terrorist. So I say, well, everything that you're doing that's not in my narrative makes you the terrorist. And you can see throughout history, especially in the leftist ideological way of thinking, is they always eat their own. It's always been that way, and a lot of times if we have the patience and can handle, just sitting back and just watching, things unfold and learn that, Facebook was pretty cool, man. When I first got on it, I got in touch with a lot of people I ain't been in touch with in years, things like that. But I learned to get away from it, because I was on it all the time, and then I learned to get away from it. It was like, okay, man, and these things come and go, all this kind of stuff, this Facebooks and YouTubes and stuff, and people are always trying to find other ways to communicate, these social media platforms, and man, for me, it's man, I just sit back and I just sit and look at it and let them eat themselves, man. I mean, just, let's just keep doing what we do. Facebook, dude, CNN is the most fakest piece of crap
Oh yeah.
thing that ever walked. I mean, dude,
What? You mean that's not real news? Are you serious?
really, man.
Look at it.
Dude,
You got a podcaster, Joe Rogan, that doubles their ratings. A podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a freaking video one time, man, of one of their big anchors standing in a ditch with water in it, just to make it look like there was flooding, and somebody else was recording it, you know, and that's where the video come from. And dude was like, there was people walking around over there, and they were all looking at the guy standing in the ditch, like, what is he doing, you know? And then they showed the broadcast, you know, on that video, and it's like, dude, they're gonna eat their own. Let them eat their man. Let them, man.
I feel the same way. The problem is now they're taking one of their own. They're switching the narrative on one of their own, and they're basically force feeding him to us as an adopted stepchild. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what they're doing with Zuckerberg right now and Facebook. It's like a dirty cop planting a bag of weed on you at a traffic stop. We're having him; he's being shoved in our back pocket. Or the conservative.
I think Zuckerberg's in on it, man. I really do.
Yeah.
I think this is the plan. I think he's being like the fall guy for all the social media so they can purge all the conservative voices on everything. Because look what you just said it, man, with Joe Rogan. He's not even conservative, but they call him far right. He was a Bernie bro, for crying out loud. He believes in UBI. You know, but he red pills so many people because he's just open and honest. He's just, and you're right. You know, someone who's got billions and billions of downloads, and can, when CNN tries to use the whole thing about the Ivor because he used it, I mean, they tripled down on it, and everyone he's calling them out. He has exposed CNN single-handedly.
I mean,
So
look at the guys like Tim Pool. Tim Pool has never been far right. He was left.
Oh yeah.
He didn't start switching over until all this craziness started happening. Then he went out and bought his first firearm. Now he's pro 2A, but he's still middle of the road. He doesn't claim to be far right, but he damn sure ain't far left no more. He's
right.
He's doing his best to stay down the middle of the road. It's kind of like yeah. And it's if you're gaining any traction, man, then just come after you. Which makes me think that the whole, you know, Facebook shutdown for a few hours, a couple 3 weeks back, wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
It could have been an information grab. It could have been a delete point. You know what I mean? There could have been some stuff that had to disappear for good. That the only way they could do it was to shut down and reboot the system.
I want to see the what is it called? The algorithms. That's what I want to see. That's when I believe the government's really doing something about these social media platforms. Who knows how these algorithms isolate and contain us, man? You know what I mean? And in an unfair way to suppress people who are just trying to tell the truth, just being honest.
It's bullshit how you it's bullshit how you have to work within the system just to get a message out, you know, which is you're right as an American. I mean, take for example, I went on Off the Wall Preppers live stream a couple days ago, right? And you know, I clicked on the live stream, and I make it a habit of when I click on somebody's stream or somebody's video, I watch the ads. That to me, that's part of the video now because I'm a creator and I put ads on mine, so I watch other people's ads. And I almost spit my beer out across the room when this ad played out on a prepping channel, right? Off the Wall Prepper. You know what the ad was about? It went to this whole thing of this woman cooking breakfast for her man, and at the end of it, it was eggs in a carton that were made. They were plant-based eggs.
Oh.
And the statement was that this company is support this company and help us move away from the inhumane business, the inhumane cycle of brutal animal farming. You know, it was the most anti-prepper ad you can put on a prepping channel.
Huh.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think plant-based foods are awesome. They're super, super healthy. That would take us back to a primary consumer instead of a tertiary, which is actually really, really good for us and really, really good for the environment to eat more plants. But to force feed that to somebody on a prepping channel, I mean, come on. That's like putting that's like putting an anti-2A ad, you know, on one of the gun channels. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, not only do they keep 40% of all the ad revenue that they get, but they're gonna, and you can't tell me that was an accident. That was an algorithm. That was, if you're associating with this community or this prepping community, they're gonna run negative ads on your stuff just to keep other advertisers away. They're running negative ads to reduce the amount of income that you're going to get because people aren't going to want to watch those ads. You know, it's not
I
like
believe algorithms are totally brutal against us, man, because if you go and look at like the analytics just on my channel, my reach, I'm almost 99% only people who are subscribed to me get notifications, or I'm never recommended outside of people who subscribe to me. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much the same here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when I switched to my backup channel and said, you know, it was a backup channel / canning channel, that's why I switched back to this one, because I wasn't, dude, the only people that were seeing my stuff were people that were my subscribed. I was getting no browse features. I was getting nothing.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
Well, a lot of us know that Facebook, in my opinion, based on my research, they were started by D as in dog, ARPA. So their point this whole time has been gathering information, data mining, putting people into their own little corners, baby, you know, and compartmentalizing us so that that AI algorithm can feed whatever it is you need fed, whatever thought process that you need fed. And of course, they try to direct that as well. But I don't trust them at all. I have never had Facebook. I have never, that's not true. I signed up for it in reply in 2005. Someone sent me a message on it. I signed up to reply to that person. But if you go to my Facebook, it'll show from 2010 on, zero posts, zero posts. Every year you click on zero, zero, because I deactivated it, it's gone. And I firmly believe that it is nothing more than another way to track people, keep up with your thoughts, and we're seeing the result of that now. It's kind of ironic that Zuckerberg is getting quieted and everything, but I honestly think that's more of an illusion. The First Amendment, the Constitution is already hate speech, right? So I just don't think that he's innocent. I don't think he's being thrown under the bus. I think he's a part of this, breaking it up, because at the end of the day, he'll end up with more power.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about that, makes good sense, because I mean, go way back to the beginning. I mean, the place to be was MySpace. I still like MySpace better than Facebook.
Right.
And overnight, Facebook just annihilated MySpace.
MySpace, is it still a thing?
Yeah, it's a music sharing platform now. Yeah, I love MySpace, and I mean, and Tom was everybody's friend, and Tom had some traction. I mean, it was a cool platform. And then overnight, Facebook gets this unbelievable push from like somewhere out of nowhere. It's just there, and it completely annihilates MySpace. You know, and I'm going, wait a minute. And so I mean, if you think about it, Roots, that also is a good. You make a good point that maybe he's in on it. Maybe he's just tired of being in the spotlight. Maybe he wants to take his $1 trillion and his beach ball and go on vacation and relax.
Right.
You know, bust the company up, let somebody take the fall for you.
Yep.
Put it on one of your COOs or your CFOs, or make a behind the closed doors deal. You know, bust your company up, retain your stock, and just, you know, go chill. And then again, I heard that he dumped a whole bunch of stock recently, like right before all this shit went down, that he dumped like millions and millions of dollars of stock.
He played his part.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense if you're gonna run for cover, dump your stock before it tanks, and then go take a vacation. You know, let your lawyers worry about it. Yeah, so it makes sense.
His seat at the table, you know, the ruling class is secure. He don't care about his company.
Right.
Absolutely. They don't give a shit about us, man. Never have. And you know, every 4 years they'll make a big production on how much they care and how American they are. But I mean, come on, we saw through that.
Right.
Everybody knows, and it's funny. I mean, and so many people are putting so much stock in the midterms. I'm not, because they're using the same system. They're using the same voting machines, the same system. They set a precedent in 2020. that what your eyes see, apparently your eyes are lying to you. So your eyes are giving you misinformation now. Eyewitness reports are misinformation. Video evidence is misinformation. You know, 1+1 is 9 is misinformation. You know, so it's just going to be more of the same in 2022. I have zero faith in the election process. Not because I think, you know, somebody was doing something hinky or somebody was doing something illegal, just because there's no oversight. There's no independent oversight of it. There's no way for you to track your vote. You should be able to track your vote. You should be able to verify your vote.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
In this day and age, yeah.
You should be able to verify. You should be able to log in somewhere and verify every single vote you've ever made. This is 2021, man. They can log in right now within 2 minutes and show your entire browser history since the time you were born, but you can't show me who I voted for. Why is that not on a database? You should be able to hit a few buttons and pull all that up and have it verifiable. Have it verified.
Right.
But no, we don't get that.
Well, like, because you probably didn't vote for who you voted for. That's why I don't want you to see it.
Yeah, exactly. And what Ghetto just said is something I was fixing to say. Why do you think Trump created his own social media platform? They are mankind's most profitable companies, trillions revenue. And here's the crazy part. Maybe this is all hypothetical. This is all fantasy and fiction. What if that's the reason they're going after Zuck? What if he's decided to, I don't know, stretch his wings, broaden his horizons a little bit? What if Trump has a business partner with a silent business partner with this new social media platform? Maybe they're mad at him. I mean, it's
that's a romantic idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a working theory.
Right.
Think about it. If the most talked about man in the last, I don't know, 5-6 years decides to do his own social media platform and it's going to be free speech for everybody the way it's supposed to be, why would you not, as a smart businessman, Mark Zuckerberg, say, you know what? I want to buy some stocks in this because this shit's going to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not hedge your bets? Because he's going to destroy Facebook. Why would you not hedge your bets? He'll do the same thing that Facebook did to MySpace. You know, and oh yeah. And you can't tell me that Tom, the cat from MySpace, don't own Facebook stock. I would if I was him and I had some money laying around. Because you come out of the gate on Monday, nobody knows who you are. On Wednesday, you're whooping my ass, and by Friday, you have the market cornered. Yeah, I want some of your stock, man. Because you just took me to the cleaners.
Yeah. You know what though? I think this is a theory I've always had about billionaires. I think once you get so much money, money loses its meaning to you. You know what I mean? So I think the next step after you realize that there's a difference between wealth and power. There really is. Think about the most powerful people in our country. They're not the wealthiest, you know. Sure, the wealthiest people have power, you know, but they're still answerable to other people with power. I think once you get a certain amount of money, power, you start looking for other things you can control.
Mm-hmm.
And all these billionaires, Zuckerberg, you know, Bezos, all of them, man, Elon Musk, whoever, all the freaking shadow billionaires we don't even know about. They know what's about to happen. They know what's going on. There's a reason why you guys are talking about earlier. I think it was you guys you said, or it might have been Backwoods. One of you guys mentioned that he was dumping a bunch of stock, and Bezos and Bill Gates divorcing their wives so they could liquidate their assets so they wouldn't lose them, you know, in the upcoming economic fall. They're trying to reset the whole world economy into something new, you know, something where they can control literally every dollar on the planet, you know, or whatever the new form of currency is going to be. I think that's where we're headed. I think the new currency is going to be crypto. It's going to be controlled through the web, the internet. And so, you know, yeah, they're trying to bring down Facebook just to make a show. I mean, this is just my working theory. I'm trying to figure out what's going on like y'all are.
Yeah.
But I think we're headed towards something like that. Everything is related to the Great Reset in my mind. The more I find out about what it is and what they're trying to do and what they're doing with the economy and everything, the more I think everything the world powers do, the billionaires, whoever, is related to the Great Reset.
And I'll give you an example. And this is a true story. I won't drop any names. But back when I was working private security, I worked for a guy. He's a multi-millionaire. He was about 12 years ago, he was approaching billionaire status. I mean, the jets, the yachts, the whole 9 yards. Multi-millionaire. All of his cars are bulletproof, the whole 9 yards. He was up there. Really cool dude. Me and him got along great. He was an ass to everybody else. Me and him got along great because I'm an ass too, so we just kind of clicked. We weren't buddies by any means, but we were on the same page. And I remember I was driving him and we were talking to something. We got on the topic of money, this, and that, and the other. And he told me, he said, I'm one of the loneliest people on the planet. You know, he's married, got 2 kids, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, man? You got like millions and millions of dollars. He said it's worthless. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, why don't you just retire? You know, go buy an island and just sit on your ass. He goes, I can't. I'm like, what do you mean you can't? He goes, if I did that within 10 years, I would be completely broke or I'd be in prison. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, there's a line that you cross when you become a multimillionaire. There's a line that you cross. He didn't go into crazy detail, but there's a line that you cross. It's almost like your tax bracket that you're in. There's a line that you cross that it costs you more money. Like if you slow down making it, you'll go broke, like legitimately broke. When you got the jets and the yachts and the things like that, and the money that it costs you to keep them running operational. He goes, plus there's certain things you got to do to keep this money that if you ever stopped making money and paying those taxes, they'll come after you and take all of it. He goes, how many millionaires do you see that are retired, living on the beach? You know, multimillionaires that are, you know, not millionaires, but people that have hundreds of millions of dollars. He goes, you never don't see them in the limelight. Somebody's always after them. He goes, there's always somebody with an attorney. There's always somebody with a lawyer. And he goes, bottom line, it's cheaper to settle. He goes, so once you get to a certain point, you can't stop. And I never thought of it that way. I'm like, you can directly relate that statement or that view to being a politician. Like all politicians start out wanting to do good. I mean, nobody's born, you know, and at the age of 16 says, man, I want to be a crook and I want to do it wearing a suit. I want to be a politician. You know, I think a majority of people that are in politics legitimately started out trying to do some good. You know, they're good orators. They love giving speeches and they wanted to do something. Politics was kind of cool. And then I think there's a certain point when you get a certain election or you get a certain amount of following or you meet the certain right/wrong people, there's a certain line that you cross. And then, you know, it's like going over to the dark side, you know, and it makes perfect sense because we can't have that many evil, bad, crooked politicians without there being a reason. You know what I mean? They come from many different backgrounds, from many different states, from many different religions, male, female, trans, the whole 9 yards are in politics. And 9 times out of 10, they're all crooked and they're all covering up for each other. And they're at a point now where they can't stop. They're going to go to jail. It's I don't know.
Go ahead, Virginia. Go ahead.
I was just going to say this seems organized.
Yeah. It does. Yeah. It's like once you get into the club, it's like joining a biker gang or a motorcycle club or a drug cartel or the mafia. I mean, once you get that card burned in your hand and you swear the blood oath, there's no going back.
Well, I think that, you know, there's something to be said about, you know, you go to be a politician and, you know, you're making 150, you know, 125, 150, $175,000 a year, maybe a little more. And then, you know, within 2 or 3 years, you're like a millionaire.
Oh yeah.
You know, because it's part of that system. And I've always thought this for a long time is that, you know, they bring them into, you know, they go in and sure, I can guarantee you there's probably a lot of them that went in wanting to do good. And they get in there and they see how messed up the system really is and how the deep state, how deep it really is. And, you know, I think they sucker them into this money thing you know, and these old backroom deals and stuff. And, you know, once they start doing that, it's, I mean, once they start doing that, it's, you know, it's pretty much over for them. They're stuck in that system, you know, that, like you said, they can't go back and go, hey, you know what? I don't really like this, you know. I mean, they can say it, but, you know, you see a lot of these people that, well, I don't really like this deal, yada, yada, but then they end up voting for it.
Yeah. That's where your lobbyists and your super PACs come in. I mean, people don't elect politicians. Super PACs, lobbyists, you know, private interests, big pharma,
The media.
The media. That's who chooses your elected officials. That's who chooses your selected officials.
You know, I kind of think I caught something one time that Obama was saying, and he was talking about this technology that's out there that they can literally put your face on someone else's body. You know, they can literally make it look like it's you. And I he had said he had made a comment on an interview one time, and he said, you know, if you ever see something like that with me, it's not really not me, but, you know, but he just kind of, you know, went on, but he just kind of made that little quick comment. And sometimes you know, it makes me think that, you know, it lets me know what we already suspect, you know, that there's bigger powers out there that are controlling all this.
Oh yeah.
And them telling, you know, it almost seems like, you know, he got like a phone call or however they do it, you know, and was like, hey, you're going to do this and this, or we're going to put your face on something that you don't want to be, you know, we're going to take you down.
Yeah. And they got the power to do it.
Yeah. And he brought that up, you know, and because it was just, it just seemed really quirky to me how he was like, well, you know, if they try to do that to me, it's not me.
Right.
You know, but then he just kept talking. It was like they didn't, you know, he didn't really harp on it or anything. It was just like just a little quick bam, you know, and he kept on moving on. And I was like, mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, look at California, for instance. All right, the Gavin Newsom issue. All right, we all know, everybody knows that he didn't win that recall vote.
Oh,
No way. No way. Absolutely no way. All right, but yet within a few hours of him winning the recall election, institutes statewide mandates on everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't get trucks to the port to get the goods off the ships that are waiting to get unloaded. You can't tell me that wasn't a tit for tat. That was a direct order, because anybody that got to keep their job by the skin of their teeth, bro, you're laying low. You're not making sweeping mandates statewide, the first state in the country to do it, to set a precedent, when you're trying to lay low and be thankful that you still have a job.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that. You give it some time. Maybe let somebody else do it. That was a phone call in the middle of the night. We're going to keep you in place, but here's what you're going to do. And it was a great big yes, sir, thank you very much. And he hung up the phone. He went to work the next day and he did it.
And he is it Gavin?
Yeah, Gavin Newsom.
Well, I'm saying, is it him that's kinfolk with Nancy?
Yep.
Yeah, he's her nephew.
Yep.
And Lieutenant Governor of New York, who is now
sister-in-law, right?
New York? Is it New York?
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah, she's related to Nancy Pelosi too.
Yeah, it's her cousin or sister-in-law or something like that.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that just a coincidence? Yeah.
And
look how they're all swarming and swooping in Virginia, because it looks like Terry McCullough's going to lose. Like Obama, did you see the speech he gave there, talking about all these people talking about there's a big culture war. There's no culture war. It's like, dude, are you freaking kidding me? Because Terry McCullough went out talking about the Loudoun County thing, where the parents were outraged about the boy who wears skirts going in the girl's room and raping the girl, sodomizing her. And Terry McCullough said parents have no business deciding what their kids learn in school. And
Yeah. F
They got
that.
Obama going down there. Biden's been there. All these big Democrats are going there. No one cares about them.
Well, when you start to look at that, Native, I mean, you know, that's the whole thing. And like somebody made, I believe it was Ghetto had made a comment about the over in China over there, how well it's working or whatever. Well,
Right.
you know, that whole ordeal, you know, they raise them from children to believe that certain way. You know, it's just like with the Islam thing. You know, it's you're you know, you're taught that your whole life. Well, see, in this country, you know, at least for folks like Ghost and I, you know, our age group and even younger, you know, we were always taught about, you know, to work hard, you know, to be, you know, pride in America, you know, and pride in what you do, you know, and helping each other and taking care of each other, you know, and now, you know, they're doing so much to try to destroy that, you know, and when you look at that and look at all the people they're putting in place, you know, because dude, you know, like Ghost said, man, you know good and well they put Gavin back in place,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and all of a sudden it's a coincidence that Nancy Pelosi's, I think it's her sister-in-law. All of a sudden she gets, you know, they just cremate, you know, old homeboy over there, and all of a sudden Nancy Pelosi's sister-in-law gets put in place.
Now, granted, he deserved to be raked over the coals. He deserves to
Well,
be
yeah,
thrown
he
in
did.
a line of fire. But you know, I mean, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, you served no purpose except you gave the Speaker of the House more control of how New York is run. I mean, legitimately, right now, she's the mayor of New York, or excuse me, she's the governor of New York. And you
Well,
can't tell me that sister-in-law ain't taking orders from the Queen Witch. I mean,
well, and that's why that Joker Terry, you know, that's McCullough or however you say his name. That's why he says things like that's why these people are saying things like that. That you don't have the right to say anything about what your children are being taught because they want to teach them the same ways that basically
right.
China does. You know that.
Mayor, I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. Parents have the authority over children, not the government. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement in principle. But the fact of the matter is, you know, wow. The fact of the matter is, if you really get down to it, you don't. I mean, all it takes is somebody being mad at you that has some juice, and they call DHS with some worked up statement. You lose your kids for 72 hours, and they bring in the people with the stuffed animals and how you touch this, how you touch that, and shit will be made up.
Yep.
If the point is to make an example out of you and take your kids or take control, they'll do it. And there's no governing body to stop them,
Mm-hmm.
and they can legitimately do that. And now it's just to the point to where they're dictating what you teach and how you teach it in schools. And you know, I can agree with some of that, not all of it. You know, I think even if things are proved wrong, they should still be taught in class. Simple case in point. When I went to school, when Backwoods went to school, I'm not sure about you, Roots, but when I went to school, Pluto was a planet.
Yep.
All right. I took tests and exams, and the correct answer was yes, Pluto is a planet. So technically, those answers are now wrong. All right. But here's the thing: I had teachers teaching that Pluto was a planet.
Mm-hmm.
So they were teaching false. They were teaching, you know, untrue facts. But here's the thing: you don't just erase Pluto from the database and say it's a proto planet or whatever you want to call it. You can still teach
Celestial.
yeah, you can still teach the simple fact that back in the day we had 9 planets, but now there's only 8. They don't do that. You know, it's like stuff just disappears. Just like with history, the first thing you do, you tear down the statues, you BFI everybody, then you rewrite the history book. I mean, look at one of my favorite TV shows ever, Jericho. That's exactly what they did in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They rewrote the history books to teach their narrative. I think that's one of the reasons why that show was shut down after 2 years. Because that could be a 10-year. That series could be running for 10 years.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing Hitler did, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Every dictator.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's about controlling information. All of you are
Changing
aware.
history.
Like if we talk about Facebook also, but you're all aware I started getting this randomly this
Right.
time. And
Okay.
in a recent episode, there's an article about this is the cover of it, and it's about, you know, everyone that gets those spam calls and what have you.
Yeah.
So there's the machines that are used, and these are all the little cards. And my point is that there is so much money going into scamming us for information. Here's a bunch of devices, and these people have been in a communist socialist environment for decades. They make more money doing this by 3-4 times as they would using their educations. Finally, the last picture I want to show is where I think this is heading. This is already in that country as of 2019. And this is a facial recognition toilet paper dispenser. So
Wow.
you, in order to get toilet paper at a public restroom, you have to put your face in front of this. And that was in 2019, it says in the caption here. You have
To
to put
wipe?
your face in order to get toilet paper out of the bathroom.
Jeez.
See that?
What kind of evil, diabolical SOB won't let us wipe without putting our face? You know?
Yeah.
My God, man.
Yeah. And that's where we're heading. I think a lot of this stuff with the Facebook and the spaces and all of that, a lot of it has to do with data mining, facial recognition, all those new phones that have, oh, you can unlock your phone with your face. Guess what? I have identical twins that look nothing alike, and they can unlock each other's phones with their freaking faces. So it's about biometrics and leading to a social credit score, in my opinion.
Have you seen? So I heard this on the news on the local radio station when I was headed out to do some stuff. So the advent of a nationwide abbreviated dialing code to reach the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline means that all calls made to certain area codes will have to use a 10-digit dialing starting Saturday.
Oh no.
Yes, and when I heard that, I was like, "Man, they are honing you in, bro."
Mhm.
I mean, you now if I call, it's going to be nationwide, so there you're going to have to find out if it's come to your area yet, and basically you're going to have to dial the area code. You know what I'm saying? And man, I don't know. I just think they're just trying to hone you. You know what I'm saying? They're getting that. You know, man, they can track you with your phone. And now your area codes and stuff. You know, if I call, if someone calls me, because my area code is in on that to start out, and they saying it's going nationwide. And
It just makes it harder if someone's in crisis. That makes it so much harder to quickly. That number's been the same for years.
See, Bigfoot saying they have to do that.
Oh wow.
I don't understand. Repeat how it works again, Backwoods.
So
Before you do, I want to say goodbye real quick. I gotta dip out. I gotta get some costumes ready and stuff. Ghost,
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, we'll be
Go
there.
back, notice. Chat.
Yes, sir.
Love all y'all. I'll see y'all later.
We'll be there.
Yeah, so it's basically you're going to have to start putting in the 10-digit. You're going to have to put in your area code. You know, any phone calls made to area codes, you have to put them in. And I don't know how to really say it the way that that thought come across my mind when I was listening to it. But it's just, I don't know, man, just something seems weird about that.
I guess it kind of makes sense if you're doing like a tracking algorithm, because my phone is a phone from Florida,
Mm-hmm.
a different area code from where I live here. So if I'm calling any businesses around here, they're getting a call from a Florida phone, and I have to dial the phone. Like if I call my next door neighbor on the landline, I would have to dial the area code because I'm on a Florida phone. But I can dial anywhere in Florida in my area code, and I can just dial the number, no area code.
Huh.
Right.
So technically, I would be kind of off grid as far as if you're thinking about the phone, because by looking at the actual numbers, unless you're tracking the cell towers, you would think I was in Florida because I'm not having the area code.
10-digit is already happening in some cities and counties in California. Yeah. In Canada, we always had to dial the area code. Yeah, and look what. No offense there, Monique, but man, look at how they. Man, I don't know, man. They've got us going and coming, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
I wonder if that will have to do with, how people out there can bounce stuff off of different, some of the smarter folks. I don't know how to do it, but you can bounce kind of like the what's the deal
VPN?
for the internet?
VPN.
VPN, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it has to do with some of that stuff to
unscramble it.
Well, I guess if you're using the area code, it'll make it easier to trace the phone call, number one, and it'll be easier to create an accurate call log of where you were when you made this call. So that kind of makes sense from a surveillance type standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm going to throw my phone away and start writing letters again.
Oh, right.
Get some of them homing pigeons.
Remember the good old days when you had to write a letter to somebody, you had to wait a week to get the reply, to get the answer to the question.
Okay, see, now Ohio Prepper is saying they've had to do it for several years. Now, see, here's that was what I was going to say about the am I saying that right? Monique King 5?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to say a minute ago, but I just kind of left it alone. But I mean, look at Ohio, look at Canada, look at California. These are. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but these are communist places. They're freaking leftists. And I know there's places. In different. I mean, just like New York. I mean, you can go to upstate New York, and it's a completely different deal. You can go to Northern California, and you get a lot of conservatives and so forth. But
I will say this about the whole 10-digit deal. If you look at it numerically, because it's easy to track a phone with GPS. So, but if you look at it numerically, there might be a legitimate reason for going to the 10 digits just because of the population. Because going to 10 digits and having everybody use a specific area code means that people can have the same technical phone number.
Right.
But the area code extends that phone number 3 more digits.
I see what you're saying.
So you would be able to put more numbers out there. Because remember, back in the day, you just picked up the phone and you told the operator where you were calling, and they would put your line through. I mean, back in the day, I remember when phone numbers were only 5 digits. Up in South Carolina, we only had the 5-digit phone number.
The party lines, remember that?
Oh, I love the party lines.
now we're at 400 plus million people documented in the States. So you got to think that, and then with all your multiple lines for different businesses, they would chew up some numbers pretty quick. So going to 10 digits basically just expands the phone number. So it could be good.
I wanted some more conspiracy out of that, man.
Deanne McClendon says yes. High Prepper says that's what they were told. But I mean, it makes sense that way because as far as tracking the phones, I mean, the GPS does that. And they can tell who you called, when you called them, and where you called them from. Yeah, I mean, I remember when all of North Carolina was like one area code. And my area code from where I grew up has changed like 3 times in the last 20 years.
Well, the one thing I do got to say, so that the guy said on the when he was talking about it was that if you got any phone numbers in your phone, you know, that don't have an area code in front of them, you're going to have to enter the area code, or you will not be able to use that number any longer.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
Or
sense.
to call that number, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to go. So I got, basically, I'm gonna have to go in and all damn phone numbers. I'm gonna have to, you know.
Yep. Well, boys and girls, I believe I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down here because I do not want to miss Native's live stream.
Yeah.
And I want to grab
can't
me
wait.
something before it starts. I hadn't eaten yet today.
Starts at 8, right, or 8:05 or something like that.
Yeah, your time. Yeah, it's 9 here, 9:05 here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys hadn't seen Native's new show, The Setup, it is hilarious and fun. It's one of the best. It's hands down the best scenario show out there. If you guys enjoyed the what would we do with me and Backwoods, you're gonna love The Setup. It puts a lot of time into these scenarios, and if you watch the show, you're gonna go, man, he put like hours and hours into the workup of this show. So if you guys can, please go over there and check it out. If I have a mod in the channel that can drop Native's link, I'd appreciate that. Also, drop Backwoods link as well.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Roots.
I'll get the link.
Cool, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop those links, but definitely go check out Native and Devout. It's called The Setup. It is hilarious. And tonight he's doing a Halloween special, if you couldn't tell earlier, with his mask and his knife. But he's doing scenarios on zombies, aliens, werewolves, all kinds of craziness. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be fun. I can tell you right now, it's going to be fun. So it is what it is. Teresa Roots is going to drop the link for his channel. Just go over there and subscribe, and it's his live stream. It's called The Setup, and it starts here in about a half an hour.
That link I just put is to the show tonight.
Okay, that's a direct link to the show right there.
Yeah.
And that's his channel. Backwoods dropped a direct link to the show, and then Roots dropped the link to his channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go grab me something to eat and get an adult beverage ready, and then I will hopefully see all you guys over there with Native on his show. And other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow at 7:30 for the Daily Nugget. And tomorrow, what did we decide we're doing tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be we're going to talk a little bit about the supply chain issues. If y'all didn't catch on earlier tonight before this stream, I did a members only live stream, and I let the members decide what we're going to be doing on our shows. So the members have direct input to the content that we're talking about. So this week upcoming, tomorrow is going to be about the supply chains. Wednesday, we're going to talk about and supplemental heat and alternative forms of heating yourself and your house in the winter, especially if the fuel prices go through the roof or, heaven forbid, something happens to the pipeline again. And Thursday, we're going to talk about prepping different aspects. And it came up in the chat tonight. Who was it that brought it up? Roots? Was it? It was Nikki. It was Nikki from In Between Prepping. She was talking about how her and Virginia were talking about how in their household, the women are usually, mostly deal with the food and food preps and stuff like that, and the men deal with, the security and things like that. And I'm like, yeah. So in my case, I don't have a spouse. It's just me. So I do the security, I do the prepping, I do the food, I do the food production, the food preparation, the food storage. So there's completely different aspects to how you prep if it's just you on your own or you in a family group. So we're going to delve into that on Thursday, and Friday is going to be a recap. By recap, what I mean is that anything we talked about this week that changes, because I promise you there's going to be some updates to the Facebook issue that we got going on.
Yeah.
Then we'll rehash that on Friday. Any new information that comes from any of the stuff we talked about, like say if I get emails or comments about something about the heat that we forgot to mention, we'll talk about that. So Friday's basically going to be a recap of the entire week and what we talked about. So it'll be every night this week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. hope you guys check it out, man. I'm having
Yep.
fun doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it every day. The only day I'm taking off is Sundays for the foreseeable future until I just wear myself out.
And
So,
we're going to let you know of people who have lives coming. If there are any creators in the chat that can email Ghost during the week that you're going on live at whatever time, whatever day, please do. And that's part of it too, is like shout out for who's doing something.
exactly. It's like what we did for Native tonight, and then last week we did it as well. He pops on here for a few minutes before his show, just to let everybody know what he's doing, what kind of show he's doing, what and the times.
Yeah.
And it's like a pregame warm up. We're doing like I would love to be able to do a schedule for everybody's live streams. If everybody would just reach out to me with an email, I'll put it in like a Word document, and I'll post it at the end of the video, and you just hit pause, and you can almost like a menu, and you can plan out your week on what you're going to watch at what day and what time. But that'll take a while to get that organized. But hopefully I do start getting some emails from some content creators, and we can kind of get almost like a TV guide schedule.
Yeah, TV guide by Ghost.
Back in the day.
Ghost guide.
A ghost guide. Yeah. Well, I'm getting out of here, y'all. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Thank you especially to all the moderators. You guys do an awesome job. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow or later tonight on Native Stream. And with that, Backwoods, Roots, you guys got anything?
Nope. See y'all soon.
Y'all have a good one.
Eyes open and your ears open, and just be ready.
That's
Y'all
right.
be safe.
All right. Bye.